So here's a question for you. How do you make an idea truly unforgettable? I mean, not just something people hear, but something they remember. Not just something they get, but something they feel. You know, it's the biggest challenge for anyone trying to get a point across. And it turns out the best communicators out there, they have a secret weapon for burning their message into our brains.
Just picture this. Bill Gates is on a TED stage, talking about malaria. It's a huge problem, right? But for a lot of people in the audience, it's abstract. And then he just opens a jar and lets a swarm of mosquitoes loose, right there in the auditorium. He says, there's no reason only poor people should have the experience. Whoa! All of a sudden, malaria isn't some far-off concept anymore. It is literally in the room. Now that's the kind of power we're diving into.
So, that's what this is all about. We're going to break down exactly how you can create your very own holy smokes moment. You know, those moments that make an audience just snap to attention and remember what you said long after you're done talking.
Now, there's actually a name for this. It's called a jaw-dropping moment. And it's exactly what it sounds like, an emotionally charged event that just completely captivates an audience. But look, this isn't about being shocking just for the heck of it. It's a really smart, strategic tool to make absolutely sure your most important message sticks.
Okay, so why does this work so incredibly well? Well, it all comes down to breaking patterns. Our brains are basically prediction machines, right? We're wired to just tune out anything that's expected. But surprise? Oh, surprise is like a mental flashbang. It jolts us and forces us to pay attention. It creates what they call a curiosity gap, making our brains go, wait, what just happened? Why? And right there, in that moment of curiosity, we're wide open to the message.
So how do you actually build one of these moments for yourself? Well, the good news is you don't need a jar of live insects. The first and maybe the most classic technique is all about the physical prop. The idea here is super simple. Show, don't tell. The whole point is to take an idea that's abstract and make it totally concrete. Like say you're talking about heavy regulation. Don't just say those words. Imagine dropping a massive 1,000-page stack of papers onto a desk with a loud thud. That sound, that visual, that makes the idea of heavy regulation real. A physical object just has this power to grab everyone's focus.
And you know who was the absolute master of this? Steve Jobs. When he introduced the very first MacBook Air, he didn't get up there and just read off a list of dimensions. No way. He walks on stage holding a plain, ordinary manila office envelope. He talks for a bit about creating the world's thinnest notebook, and then he just reaches into the envelope and pulls the entire laptop out. The crowd just erupted. See, he didn't tell them it was thin. He showed them in a way no one would ever forget.
And that right there, that perfectly sums up his entire strategy. This wasn't some one-off trick. Jobs built his presentations again and again around these incredible wow moments. He used drama and emotion to turn a simple product launch into a truly unforgettable event. All right, let's move on to our second technique. This one is called the visceral demo. And this takes things a step beyond just showing an object. This is all about making your audience feel the problem or the solution on a gut level.
Yeah, the goal here is to create what's called a visceral understanding. We're moving past just making people think. We want them to experience the topic through their senses, to feel it in their gut.
Check out this example from a talk by Dr. Elliot Crane about chronic pain. I mean, how do you even begin to explain an invisible sensation like that? He didn't pull out some complicated medical chart. Instead, first, he takes out a feather and gently touches his skin with it, showing how the body sends a normal, gentle signal to the brain. Then, he picks up a blowtorch. Now, he didn't light it, don't worry, but just the image of it was powerful enough to represent that intense, overwhelming, constant alarm signal his patients live with every single day.
I mean, that comparison says everything, doesn't it? In 1 second, the entire audience understood the huge difference between a normal signal, the feather, and that screaming, constant danger signal of chronic pain, the blowtorch. He made them feel the weight of that condition without using a single number or statistic.
Okay, our third and final technique might just be the most powerful one of all. It's the personal confession. Because, sometimes the most shocking, most pattern-breaking thing you can do is just be completely, brutally honest. Think about it. We live in a world of polished presentations and super scripted messages, right? So true, genuine vulnerability, that can cut through all that noise like nothing else. When you share a real, personal, relatable story, you create this powerful, authentic connection that people can actually feel.
A perfect example of this is Dr. Jill Bolt-Taylor. She's a brain scientist who actually experienced a massive stroke herself. And for her TED Talk, she brought a real human brain on stage with her, which is an amazing prop, by the way. But that wasn't the real jaw-dropping moment. The real holy smokes moment was when she started telling her raw, vulnerable, deeply personal story of what it was like to be a brain scientist watching her own mind just deteriorate, feeling her memories, her ability to move, her speech, all shutting down one by one. And that really gets to the heart of why this is so powerful. Researcher Amy Cuddy talks about this, how vulnerability creates this incredible, authentic connection. In her own super famous talk, when she admitted to feeling like a total imposter, like she didn't belong, millions of people watching suddenly felt less alone. That shared human experience is more memorable than any chart or statistic you could ever show.
So there you have it. 3 really powerful ways to create your own holy smokes moment. Let's just pull them all together into a simple toolkit that you can start using right away. All right, so here's your toolkit. Number 1, the physical prop. Make your abstract idea totally concrete. Number 2, the visceral demo. Make your audience actually feel the problem. And number 3, the personal confession. Connect with people through raw authenticity. You know, at the end of the day, each of these techniques does the exact same thing. It breaks a pattern. It completely shatters the audience's expectation that they're about to sit through another boring, predictable presentation. So the final question for you isn't really about which prop to grab or which story to tell. The real question is much simpler and much bigger. What pattern will you break?